silence. The dictionary defines it as the complete absence of sound. Okay? And some synonyms to silence are stillness, calm, quiet. Right? So why are we talking about silence? This is like such a random topic, right? It's because in today's world, we don't have any more silence. And if I was to define silence for you and me, the silence that actually can impact our life and lead us to a greater existence. It's not the complete absence of sound, but the complete absence of noise. And I want you to think about what I mean by noise, okay? Because noise can mean a lot of things. It could be similar sound, traffic, honking of a horn, airplane going across, helicopter, lawnmower, neighbors yelling, noise. But again, I'm talking about a different kind of noise. I'm talking about the noise that you know far too well. It's distraction. Okay? It's all the noise and complexity in your life. So what is distraction? It's something that steals your focus, essentially. It's something that prevents you from focusing and concentrating on the things that actually matter. So it pulls you in a bunch of different directions. 10, 20 different directions. Each of these directions could be social media. This could be fantasy football. This could be junk food. So many things, right? Distractions. And all these things contribute to noise, right? They create noise. They create less silence and peace and tranquility and calm and quiet in your life. Social media literally is the opposite, I believe, of silence by my definition. It is the opposite of the absence of sound, of noise. It creates noise in your life. It creates jealousy, creates extra stimuli that our brains were not meant to experience. Uh, and so there's so many distractions in your life, okay? And the unfortunate thing is, you are allowing these distractions to enter your life and continue to enter in and just ingrain themselves into your life. And you're not realizing how negative of an effect each of these stack up will have, right? Because noise isn't just something as degen as social media, it's also your job. It's also your friends. You know? Maybe it's even your business. Even things that we perceive as good things, valuable things in our life, they are added on as noise. So, by that principle, noise cannot be avoided. You can never avoid noise in your life. Because as human, we have five senses, we have cognition, we have consciousness. And so as a result of being this way, we have to experience noise. We have to be able to perceive it and battle it almost, right? And so the challenge becomes not running away or not embracing all of the noise, but being very picky and choosy about what noise you choose to allow into your life. Okay. So what most people will do is they'll take on a 9 to 5. They will try to start a business at the same time, like a side hustle. They'll want to meet a bunch of new friends in clubs every weekend. They'll do fantasy football with their old college buddies. They'll scroll through TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. All this noise and so much more in your life, right? Think about your family. Think about your partner. Think about your pet dog. Think about your pet goldfish. Think about sports. Think about all of these things that you do every single day that just contribute to this noise. So here's the challenge. You don't want to reduce it. You don't want to run away from it. You don't want to embrace all of the noise. You want to pick the noise that actually contributes to your life. So instead of viewing noise as a distraction, which has all of these different directions that you can go in, apply silence to it. Okay. So now we have one arrow, which we can say applies the variable of silence to the noise. So now we're simplifying, right? We don't have a bunch of different arrows anymore. We just have a very select few. And the way you do this is by cutting out the noise that you do not want in your life. So you have an idea of what that is. Maybe it's a job that you hate, a job that you do not like. Maybe it's your boss, maybe it's your coworkers, maybe you just don't like the work you do. Maybe you're overworked and you're not getting paid enough. If that's the case, then your 9 to 5, just by itself, just the 9 to 5, is creating 90% of the noise, right? You're allocating 90% of the noise from your 9 to 5. You're accumulating 90% of the noise in your life from your 9 to 5 just because of how much you don't like it, right? So if we think about noise as a limited resource that we get that we get in our lives, okay? Like 100 units of noise. That every little thing that you add and stay up to date with and put up with in your life takes away units. Okay, you only have so many units of noise before you literally go crazy and you get overwhelmed by all of this noise. Okay, you get just absolutely deafened by all the noise. Okay, so you only have 100 units. So if you have a 9 to 5 that you hate, your boss sucks, your coworkers are hard to work with, you're not getting paid enough, and you're working 12, 15-hour days. You don't like the area, the parking lot's terrible, there's no good restaurants anywhere, you barely get any benefits. That alone, just being in that position, just being willing to put up with it, because people just tell you, oh, your life sucks, suck it up, because everyone else's life sucks. But that's such a weak mindset, because you have the agency to change it. You have that opportunity. No one says that you have to go to that job. The only reason why you work the job is so that you can make the money to pay the bills and do all this stuff. You don't have to do it. As a biological human being, you do not need to work that job. Maybe society tells you that you need to, so that you could afford things and, have money to spend. But that thing you are doing just to live up to the expectation that society gives you, and that maybe your family and other people depend on you for, is causing 90% of the noise in your life. 90%. That's 90 units out of 100. And so the reason why you feel overwhelmed is because you only have 10 extra units to allocate of noise. And usually, the rest of the noise in your life, like we talked about, social media, fantasy football, pet, school, all this stuff, that accumulates way above your threshold. You're at such a surplus in noise that is why you feel overwhelmed. That is why you feel like you don't have enough time. You feel stressed out. Your cortisol levels are through the roof, probably making you sleep worse, and it just has all these downstream negative impacts just from this one thing. That's creating so much noise. So I'm not telling you to quit your 9 to 5 to remove this noise. I know it's hard, but if you are able to prioritize this idea that one little action can lead to so many downstream negative impacts, that solving that one thing or alleviating pain from that one thing will alleviate pain from everything else. It'll give you more units of noise to be able to work with instead of consuming so much of your sanity, right? And so at least a relatable example for me would not be a 9 to 5. It'd be uni. Story, I'm actually in the college dorm of my university, making this video ironically, but for me it's uni, right? This is the thing in my life that contributes the most to the noise. It's the highest percentage, has the highest percentage consumption of noise in my life. Uni, right? Why? Well, friends, parties, cramming, clubs, going out, sports, commute. And the list just goes on and on, right? And so just from this one little behavior and life experience that I have all of these problems, okay? All of these extra little things that add more noise consume 90% of the noise allocation that I have. And so everything else that I have in my life, so like educating on YouTube and building a personal brand, or maybe my podcast, or maybe my business, my diet, exercise, all of these other things are way beyond the 100 unit threshold of noise. Okay, all of this is to say, you don't want to run away from the noise. You don't want to take on a bunch of noise. You want to pick the right noise. Okay? I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to drop out of school. No. I'm not telling you to forget all your friends. Pick the noise that you actually want to have in your life. And then cut out the rest. Okay? This is how you achieve silence. And you might be saying, oh, I don't want silence. Why would I want an absence of noise? Well, I just explained it to you, right? It's not, you don't want an absence, you don't want a complete absence, but you need to start cutting out the noise. And you do that by being and embracing the ideal of silence. So this is gonna sound kind of woo-woo, but here's how you do it. So we multiply noise by silence. I don't know, this math is not gonna math, but what you get is, if you think about silence as a value between 0 and 1, so a fractional value, some fractional value of silence. Wait, no. Let me fix that. This would make more sense mathematically. You think about noise as value from 0 to 1. So, if you're above if you're above your 100 units, then you're above 1, and that just scales up this value. Okay? So, the more silence you have in your life, right? And the less noise that you have in your life, the less complexity that number will have, the lower the value will be, right? And by the same consequence, if you have a lot of noise in your life, so let's say you're using 200 units and this is up to 2, you have double the amount of complexity. Complexity could be reworded as overwhelm, burnout, not having any energy, feeling like shit. That is the outcome, okay? So the goal is to reduce the noise and increase the silence. Okay? You want to be able to have silence and have as minimal noise as possible. I'm not saying to completely remove your life of noise, because then you're just not even living anymore. But you need the noise. You need to have thought about and reflected upon what kind of noise you want in your life. So, do you actually want to hang out with the friends that you hang out with? Genuinely think about it. Are the friends that you go out with every weekend, text all the time, are they actually people that you can see yourself hanging out with in 10 years? Do they have the same vision and goals as you? Think about the person you will become in 10 years after going through this journey, and ask yourself, would those people be right there beside you? Because for most people, including myself, I don't think most of my friends would be there with me. They aren't on this path with me. You know, that's why you probably feel so weird watching these kind of videos, because you're not normal. You're not ordinary. You're not average. Because you don't want that kind of life. While most people are going to sit here and embrace the complexity, you know, a lot of my friends here at uni, they flex how much work they are, and they flex how bad they did on an exam, or they flex how little sleep they got. And I'm just looking at them and just, I don't say anything, because there's no point. You know, to me, if they really valued themselves, they valued their health, they valued their well-being, they valued their goals, their purpose, and they wouldn't be complaining and flexing about all of these negative life experiences, you know? So I don't say anything, because they won't even understand. They don't understand our troubles. They don't understand why we talk about complexity and why we talk about noise and silence. But you do, you know? Because you care about your future. You care about your purpose. You care about doing something with your life that's meaningful, instead of just stacking a bunch of noise and getting slapped in the face with all of these inputs and stimuli. You want to cut down on it. You want to be more simple. And so simplicity starts with silence. So, silence. That's a silence condition. How can you actually incorporate silence into your life? You're talking about noise. We know what noise is. We know that noise is not the worst thing in the world, but for most people, it's pretty shitty. So how do we achieve silence. Because it seems just like this big amorphous term that it's just like, oh yeah, just be more silent and embrace more silence. But that's so difficult in a world where there's quite literally no silence. We wake up to an alarm, we have notifications dinging, emails popping up in our inbox and giving a little pop sound. The click clack of the keyboard on your iPhone as you text people. Traffic, airplanes, helicopters flying over you. People talking, people on the phone, people calling you, you speaking yourself. The air conditioning, cars driving by. There's so much noise, complexity in the world as being a human. And it's not just sound, by the way. If you think about noise, it can also be, it appeals to all of our senses. It's the things we look at. Colors, social media, watching the reel. What we smell, the smell of this expo marker. The dry smell in this study room. Also the way we feel, it's like the smooth, shiny feel of this whiteboard. The feel of the marker in my hand. And beyond the five senses, there's also emotion, right? It's the emotion that you feel from listening to this podcast or watching this YouTube video. It's deeper, right? And so we have all this noise and inputs and stimuli coming to us from the world that it's very difficult to believe that this is impossible, to believe that silence is something that we can actually have in our life. So you can't just watch this video and expect to be more, or to embrace silence easily, because it's society does not grant you silence. Okay? This will be such a controversial video because the fact that it's so impossibly not silent. Society is so loud, so many things coming at you at one time. So many things to interpret, so many emotions it's hitting you with, so many stimuli touching your senses. This is a tough cookie. But there are ways to do it. And I've found some ways in my life, even though they're pretty small, not super significant, but I found simple little things you can do to have more silence in your life. And I hope by this point you understand what I'm saying about silence and why it's so important. Change colors. Hopefully this one works though. Okay. So how do we find how do we get silence? First, we need to understand that the world is not silent. The world is not giving it to you. If you want silence, you can't ask the world for it. Because the world would just scream back at you with more noise. Okay? Talk to anybody in your friend group about the idea of silence, and they'll just tell you you're stupid. They're trying to tell you off. They'll try to convince you, like, are you crazy? Like, what? Why are you talking about silence? The world is not giving silence to you. The world doesn't have silence. So where does silence come from? How do you get silence? How do you achieve silence in your life? It starts with you. A lot of things start with you. So the world is not giving it to you. That's you. You create silence in your life. Well, yeah, obviously, right? Seems to be like that is the pattern of self-improvement. That's the pattern of self-development and actualization, right? That everything, oh yeah, everything starts with you. But I think in this case, it truly does. Some things don't necessarily need to be internal, but this is possibly one of the most internal experiences and personal experiences that you can have. It's almost spiritual in some ways. And so instead of just yapping about, oh, the philosophical side of silence and oh, why you gotta do it, it's gonna it's gonna like stimulate your brain waves and actualize you into like a higher being. No, I'm gonna tell you exactly how to do it. So we know it starts with you. What about the how, right? I hate watching videos whenever they just like tell you why, like the significance of doing something and the science behind it. They don't tell you how to actually do it. So I'm gonna tell you how to actually have silence. Eating. Try to think back to the last time that you've eaten something without being on your phone or without talking to somebody. You probably wouldn't be able to think back far enough. And probably don't have enough of those experiences in your life to be able to pinpoint, oh, yeah, here's why this is kind of absolutely blurry. So eating, all of your life, eating has been explained to you as this social endeavor, right? This this experience where you get to spend time with other people. But here's what eating has become, at least for me on university and what I observe from all the other college students, right? Eating is a social experience, but it's not. It's pseudo-social. It's not a fully social experience anymore. Why? Why do I say that? It's because people are literally sitting together in a group around a table, eating, and they're literally just on Instagram, all of them scrolling through, not talking to one another. I'm sure you've seen this. I'm sure you walk to a restaurant, look at the families, they're all on their phones. Look at your friends or your colleagues, always on their phones. Think about the last time you've eaten alone. You're probably on your phone, watching something, scrolling through, reading something, right? I mean, hell, people go to the toilet and they have to bring their phone because they literally cannot stand the idea of being bored and not having stimuli. So I mean, the bonus one. Shitty. When's the last time you took a shit without bringing your phone in there? Be honest, you know? Okay, my point is, when you're eating meals by yourself, or when you're going to the bathroom and taking a shit, or you're doing something by yourself, okay, something routine by yourself, like brushing your teeth by yourself, taking a shower, eating, going to the bathroom, leave your phone in the other room. If you're eating out in the office, lunch break, put your phone in the drawer, or leave your phone at the office, or leave your phone in your bag, on do not disturb, silent, airplane mode, all of it. When you go to the bathroom, don't bring your phone with you. Whenever you're brushing your teeth, don't even look at your phone, okay? And you might be like, well, that's not gonna just magically create silence in your life, but hold on. So when you start doing this, like legit, when you actually start just getting off of your phone while you eat or while you're just doing things by yourself, you will start to feel bored. It'll suck. It'll feel weird. You'll feel almost anxious. Like you want to grab your phone and have your phone to consume something off of, right? But eventually, you'll reach the threshold where you start to get more returns from doing this. So you're eating by yourself. You're not on social media. You're not watching a YouTube video. You're not doing any of the things. You're just eating. You're just taking a shit. You're just brushing your teeth. Okay? And for the athletes, stop listening to music. You don't need music to motivate you to do the thing. If anything, by using music to motivate you to do something, to go to the gym, to run, to train hard, you're basically coping and convincing yourself that this is the reason why I'm doing this thing, because I get the music, because I get to get hyped up by the music. You should create your own hype, dude. The silence in your head, the thoughts in your head should give you the evidence to do the thing. And so by having the music, you're basically you're cheating. So stop listening to music and give yourself some silence. So you're eating, the gym, right? You don't need to listen to a podcast. You don't need to listen to music in the gym. Then, trust me. When you've done this enough, I never listen to music anymore. I go for 2-hour plus long runs. It's crazy intense workouts, and I don't listen to music. And I'm genuinely in the best shape of my life, working the absolute hardest, push my body to the absolute limits, and I don't even need music or podcasts anymore. And the reason why is because I have silence. I'm alone with my own thoughts. I'm alone with my own demons. And so I'm not using the music or the podcast to cope with my weakness. I'm embracing the pain, dude. It's in my head. And I'm sure you've seen the quote on the dude's TikToks. Pain is weakness leaving the body. I just love that statement. Pain is weakness leaving the body. And you can't observe that pain leaving your body in the gym, whenever you're working, whenever you're doing something hard. When you're doing something that most people wouldn't do, because I know you're that kind of person. Then the music basically takes away the catharsis of it. It takes away the impact, the profundity of doing the hard thing. Because the music, in a way, was the reason why you did the hard thing. You're taking away the agency of yourself and giving the music all credit for doing the hard thing. You might not see it that way. You might disagree. But subconsciously, the music is a coping mechanism for doing hard things. Car. When's the last time you've been in the car and you haven't listened to music or had a podcast or had someone next to you talking to you? You probably can't remember. So turn the fucking radio off. Don't connect CarPlay. Just drive. Look around. A car has windshields and windows, and just look around. Take your fucking AirPods out and just take a minute to look around as you drive. You know, you'll feel bored, you'll feel anxious, you'll feel unproductive, but that's okay. That's the point. Okay, turn the fucking radio off. Give yourself a little bit of silence. Give yourself a little bit of breathing room. This is what I used to do. I would convince myself that I could go to the gym because I'll get to listen to a Modern Wisdom podcast on the commute to the gym, and then at the gym I'd get to listen to music. So it's good to have that positive reinforcement there, and to have that those incentives to do the good thing. But the moment I stopped listening to the podcast, and the moment that I stopped listening to the music in the gym, let me tell you, the silence was more. It was so much more than just silence, right? Because in the car, I started to notice and pick up on little nuances about just the world, just by driving but in silence. You know, I got less pissed at traffic. I got less pissed at bad drivers. You know, I was more patient. I was less frustrated because I was just observing. You know, I was just in the moment. And it just might sound stupid to say. I guess car is a bad way to put it, but driving. But just driving, right? Being in that moment and just immersing yourself in that moment without any audio coming into your ears, and you're just letting your eyes observe the world. It's so powerful, and you just have to experience it to believe it. Looking back a little bit, there's so many benefits to this lecture. There's so many. This all boils down to getting the fuck off your phone. Disabling Bluetooth, getting off your phone, putting your phone in airplane mode. Right? That's literally the solution to all of these things. Why? So what are the benefits of doing this? Like, why should I actually get silence? Obviously, all the peace of mind, the calm, the tranquility, being able to just sit in your own thoughts and meditate on them. But it's also, there's benefits to this. When you go to the gym and you don't have music or a podcast to listen to, what else do you do? Right? I see so many people with their headphones in, hoodie over their head, locked in on their workout. And here's the sad part. They're just alone. They don't talk to anybody. They're just in there focusing on the workout. Yeah, that's good. But guess what? Me, the guy without headphones, without music or podcast, without the hoodie, without the pub cover, I probably work harder than them just because I have my own demons to fight with in my head. Because I'm not coping with music. There's a time to lock in. I get it, yes. There's a time to tune up the world. But you don't need to do that all the time with music and pretend like you're busy and pretend like you're just locked in. So, benefits. You go to the gym, you don't have music or podcast, then it forces you to socialize. It forces you to go out and fucking talk to people because that's how you fill the space of time. It forces you to go meet people. I already talked about the benefits of driving. I mean, it's safer. You're more patient. You're less likely to get into trouble or do something risky. Eating, right? The second you get off your phone, think about the times when you're eating with other people. You're not on your phone. You're present in the moment. You're talking. You're connected. You're literally building a better relationship with your family and your friends, and your partner, and your kids. Whatever you take the fuck off your phone while you eat. Even if you're by yourself, you're building the muscle to not need the distraction, and you're embracing the silence of eating without stimuli. It's just eating. And guess what? The food tastes better. The food fucking tastes better. Because you don't have a podcast in the background you're listening to, and you don't have a YouTube video playing on the side, and you're not answering emails at the same time. You're literally just eating. You're just eating. So the food tastes better. If you're with someone else, the conversation is better, so you're building a better relationship. You're at the gym, you're meeting new people, you're hitting a hard workout, you're literally making better gains because the only motivation you have is within. So you're building a stronger identity, building more willpower, you're fighting your demons, you're meeting new people, and then when you're driving, you get that peace of mind. You're safer when you're driving, you become a better driver, you become somebody that is not in a rush all the time. And I mean, there's so many different ways you can implement this, right? There are so many more ways you can just have more silence, and it's a lot more simple than you think. It doesn't need to be complicated. Walking. When's the last time you walked somewhere without having your phone in your hand, scrolling through something, or listening to something, like listening to music or listening to a podcast as you were walking? This is quite possibly one of the lowest friction, easiest ones you can implement, like right now. The next place that you walk to. So it can be so simple, right? It can literally be walking from your office to your car, or walking from your class to your next class, right? Just put your phone, leave your phone in your office, or leave your phone in your bag. Leave your phone in your pocket on silent. Don't pull it out. Don't put on your AirPods. Just walk and look around and smile at people. Observe the world, the sounds, the smells, the things you see. And the benefits aren't as obvious, but you just have to do it to know what I'm talking about. To just be able to not have any other stimuli besides the world around you. This is how you achieve silence. The world's not going to give it to you. The world's incomprehensibly loud. But if you truly want to achieve silence, you need to search within yourself and have the discipline to just basically get off your phone. It's that simple. Get off your phone and take your AirPods out. That's it. That's how you achieve silence. Don't need music. Don't need a podcast. Don't need social media. You don't need to answer emails. You don't need to multitask. I hope you understand that silence is truly one of the most underrated but simultaneously high ROI things you can do. And it's not like your life is changing that much. You're still gonna eat the same food. You're still gonna hit the same workout. You're still gonna drive to the same places. You're still gonna walk and do the same things. Your life's not changing that much, but it's changing so fucking much. Okay? And I'm not saying to do all this at the same time. Start small. Start by just walking in silence. Start by, go to the gym, and maybe you can only listen to like classical music, like boring music. And then you can scale it back until you don't need music anymore. Start small. Don't try to do them all at once. Do one at a time. And you'll start to realize the benefits that I'm talking about. That silence, dude. Those moments in your life whenever you don't have to worry about anything, you're not listening to anything, you're not getting overwhelmed with all of these stimuli, you'll realize that, oh my gosh, these moments are actually super precious. These moments are actually my favorite part of the day. Goodbye.